My wife left me for a tech millionaire. I took revenge by buying her husband's company on their wedding day.
I never thought I'd have a revenge story. My name is Lucas Bennett. 3 years ago, I was just a programmer with big dreams and a heavy mortgage in Riverton. My wife, Sophie Caldwell, seemed like the love of my life. Our small apartment was mostly computers, and I was consumed by a startup idea. "Lucas, we need to talk," Sophie said one evening, as I typed furiously. "Just 5 more minutes," I mumbled. Double quotes, "No now." Sophie replied. I turned and saw her with 2 suitcases, dressed like she was leaving for good. My stomach sank. "What's going on?" She placed a manila envelope on the table. "Divorce papers. I've signed them." The room tilted. "Divorce. Sophie, we can fix this." She laughed coldly. "Fix this? 3 years of empty promises. I'm done with your pipe dreams while my friends live in Europe." "Sophie, I'm close." "What?" "This platform could change everything." "That's what you said about the last 3 projects." "I've met someone else who..." Victor Hayes. Victor Hayes, CEO of Hayes Enterprises, one of the East Coast's biggest tech companies. The man I dreamt of pitching my ideas to. "How did you meet him?" I asked. "I applied for an assistant role 6 months ago." "But I didn't tell you," she said. "6 months? You've been seeing him for 6 months?" "Yes, Lucas. And he can give me the life you promised me." I felt like drowning, all those late nights. "For Victor? Did penthouse? Vacation home? In Seabreeze Estates? Private jets?" She replied, "And what about love?" I whispered, "I'm learning too, but I don't love this life anymore." She gestured at our modest apartment. "I don't want to watch you waste your potential." "Waste my potential? I'm building something revolutionary. You've hidden from reality. Real success isn't in Riverton apartments, it's New York, Silicon Valley, making things happen," she replied. "So that's it." "Years you're leaving?" I asked. "Victor's waiting. My lawyer will handle the rest," she said. "Sophie, give me a chance. The platform is ready. Investors next week." Pleaded, I've heard it before. Too late. She was in no mood to be stopped. "Did you tell him about my algorithms?" She paused. He asked. "I might have shared some details. My work was betrayed. You had no right." I screamed at Sophie. "It doesn't matter. Victor can develop it better and faster." She smiled. "Get out." I screamed as I was about to lose control of myself. She smiled briefly. "Men like you are a dime a dozen?" Then she left, leaving only perfume and divorce papers. That Lucas might be more valuable than the money. Consider it done. Walking out with a signed term sheet, I felt something I hadn't in years. Hope. And a plan bigger than success, a plan to take everything from Victor Hayes, just as he had taken from me. For 3 months, I barely left my apartment, except for meetings with Adrian and his network. Adrian was my mentor who guided me in every situation. I incorporated Bennett Analytics in Delaware, assembled a small but brilliant team, and refined the platform. The divorce finalized with minimal fuss. Sophie wanted nothing. Her future with Victor was secure. I signed without reading, focused on what came next. 6 months later, Bennett Analytics launched at Innovate Tech Summit to rave reviews. Adrian polished my presentation, upgraded my image. Gone were rumpled tees and stubble, replaced by tailored shirts and polished authenticity. 3 major clients signed up on the spot. By the end, we had a waiting list for beta testers and interest from investors. Then the news: Hayes Enterprises delayed their platform launch, citing technical problems. Rumors suggested their algorithms weren't working. I knew why they tried to copy my ideas via Sophie, but lacked the full picture. My innovations were still mine. Adrian called next day. "You did it, kid. Hayes is floundering. Now steady growth or go big." "Big," I said immediately. 2 weeks later, Bennett Analytics opened a sleek office in Metropolis City, 10 blocks from Hayes headquarters. A deliberate move. I wanted Victor to know I was in his territory. I pushed the company and myself relentlessly. Series A brought $18 million. The awkward programmer disappeared. In his place, someone who commanded attention. My wardrobe, address, and confidence were weapons, sharpened for the inevitable confrontation. I dated strategically high-profile women Sophie would notice. 9 months in, we had 50 employees, Fortune 500 clients, a $200 million valuation, and we were beating Hayes for contracts. Then came the summit invitation. Victor would speak right after me. The night before, couldn't sleep, staring at the metropolis city skyline, rehearsing. Would he know me? Did Sophie tell him about her ex-husband's new company? The next morning, I arrived early. Victor's slot was perfect right after mine. I took the stage, presented our platform, answered questions. Then I saw them, Victor, frowning, and Sophie, stunning in a designer dress. Shock crossed her face. She hadn't expected this version of me. Confident, successful, commanding. I finished to applause, moderator announced. Now, Victor Hayes, CEO of Hayes Enterprises. We passed on the steps. Up close, Victor was taller, broader, tan, silver-templed, in a bespoke suit. Impressive presentation, he said, extending a hand. Victor Hayes. Lucas Bennett, Bennett Analytics, I replied, gripping firmly. Recognition flickered, then calculation. Bennett. Relation to Sophie Bennett? Ex-husband? Small world, isn't it?
Oh.
The moderator called him. I walked to Sophie, pale and frozen. Hello, Sophie, I said quietly. You look well, Lucas. I had no idea you'd be here. Clearly, enjoying the summit. Fascinating presentations. She glanced at Victor, starting his talk. You've changed. Success will do that, I replied. I meant to reach out after I heard about your company. To congratulate you, Sophie said. Did you? I kept my tone light. Well, better late than never. She smiled. She leaned closer. Does Victor know who you are? Who you really are? He does now. I nodded to the stage. But don't worry. I didn't mention your help with my early algorithms. Our little secret. She paled. Lucas. That wasn't supposed to matter. Was just a small-time programmer who would never amount to anything. I shrugged. Water under the bridge. On stage, Victor was struggling. His presentation lacked energy, his answers hesitant. Your husband seems off tonight, I said. Hayes Enterprises has had some setbacks lately, Sophie replied. What are you doing, Lucas? Building a company? Deliberately targeting? Him, I laughed, paranoid. The tech world's competitive. Did the best platform win? Victor finished to polite but subdued applause. Returning to us, he barely looked at me. Darling, we should go. Dinner, he said to Sophie. Of course. She took his arm, but kept glancing at me. It was unexpected to see you, Lucas, she said. New York's small, I replied pleasantly. Victor nodded curtly. Bennett, good luck with your startup. Oh, we're past the startup phase, I corrected him. Good luck with your technical challenges. As they left, satisfaction washed over me. This was just the beginning. Within weeks, the industry buzzed. Bennett Analytics versus Hayes Enterprises. Our stock climbed. Theirs fell. I pushed for aggressive expansion, targeted their clients, and poached 3 top developers, gaining insight into their struggles. My profile rose. Forbes, CNBC, Wall Street Journal featured my journey from bootstrapped Riverton. Beginnings subtly contrasting Victor's privileged background. 6 months later, we landed Global Finance Partners, one of Hayes' oldest clients. Our stock jumped 15%. Then came a text from an unknown number. This isn't a game you want to play. Back off. I saved it. Victor was feeling the pressure. 2 weeks later at the Regal Art Museum Gala, I spotted Sophie alone. Penny for your thoughts, I said. Lucas, you seem everywhere these days. It's that kind of town, she replied. No, Victor's busy tonight, I said. She sipped champagne. Global Finance Partners? They made a business decision. Nothing personal, I replied. Feels personal, she whispered. What is this revenge? She asked. This is about building the best company. Can, I said, if it impacts Victor? That's competition. You've become what you used to criticize. Cutthroat, obsessed, willing to step on others. Sophie said I learned from the best, I said, gesturing at the gala. Isn't this what you wanted? Recognition? Success? I'm showing you what you left behind. That's cruel, she whispered. Crueler than leaving your husband the day before his big break. Crueler than sharing his work with a competitor, I replied. I don't think so. Victor and I are marrying next month at Grand Astoria, she blurted. Congratulations, I said. I'm sure it will be beautiful. I want you to stop this as a wedding gift, she pleaded. I laughed. Who's cruel now? She grabbed my arm. Victor is dangerous. You don't know what he's capable of, I replied. Neither does he know what I'm capable of. Enjoy your evening. Give my best to the groom. The next morning, I learned Victor had filed a lawsuit. Intellectual property theft and corporate espionage. Their case is weak, Derek said. Who is my financial strategist? It's a desperate play to scare investors. Can we counter? I asked. With pleasure, Derek grinned. We'll allege Hayes' delayed platform was based on your work, shared during your marriage to Sophie. That drags her in, I noted. Does it bother you? Derek asked. No, she made her choice. I replied, the legal battle hit. Headlines? But analysts quickly praised Bennett Analytics, questioning Hayes' claims. 3 days later, an invitation arrived. Thick cream paper with gold embossing. Mr. and Mrs. Victor Hayes requested the pleasure of my company at their wedding. Inside was a note from Sophie. Lucas, I'd love for you to see what real success looks like. No hard feelings. The audacity took my breath away. Twisted olive branch or calculated move to flaunt their untouchable status. Either way, I couldn't. Ignore it, IRS VPED. Lucas Bennett +1 will attend. Then I called my team. I want everything on Hayes Enterprises board. Members, shareholders, loans, the works. Are we going for acquisition? My CFO asked. Something like that? I replied. Despite appearances, Hayes was over-leveraged. Victor had expanded too fast. The lawsuit was likely a smokescreen. At the right timing, takeover was possible. I quietly bought shares through shell companies, not enough to alarm anyone. Courted keyboard members and investors, subtly questioning Victor's leadership. 2 weeks before the wedding, a text arrived. I know what you're doing. Back off or I'll destroy everything you've built. I forwarded it to Derek. More evidence for harassment counterclaim. The next day, Hayes announced a press conference. Victor was confident, unveiled a pivot to AI and machine learning areas Bennett Analytics hadn't fully entered. The market reacted, stock jumped 8%. Did you see that? Adrian called. He's trying to outflank you. Let him try. He's too late, I said. The week before the wedding, we moved. Bennett Analytics announced a tender offer for Hayes shares. At an irresistible premium, shock rippled through the business world. A 3-year-old company taking on a decades-old firm. What they didn't know. We already controlled nearly 30% of the shares, with commitments from enough shareholders to push us over 50%. The takeover was swift and brutal, Victor called, voice shaking. You can't do this. The board won't allow it. The board doesn't have a choice, I said. And neither do you. This is about Sophie, isn't it? Victor said. This is business, Victor. You tried to steal my work, threatened me, sued my company. Did you expect no consequences? I said slowly. I'll fight this with everything I have, Victor almost screamed. You don't have much left. Hey, look on the bright side. You still have the wedding to look forward to. Speaking of which, I'm looking forward to meeting your board in a social setting. I replied with a smile on my face. I hung up. The timing was deliberate. Victor distracted, humiliated before his big day. I had one more card to play. The wedding day dawned clear. I dressed in a custom Tom Ford suit, a platinum Patek Philippe watch, and had my driver take me to Grand Astoria. My +1 was Olivia, my VP of Operations, sharp, perceptive, and fully briefed. Remember. I told her, we're here to observe, not to make a scene. And to be observed, she nodded. Grand Astoria's ballroom was a floral wonderland. A string quartet played, Guests mingled in designer finery, faces from magazine covers and business news. Victor had invited New York's elite. When Sophie walked down the aisle in a Vera Wang gown that likely cost more than my first apartment, I felt nothing. No anger, no loss, no satisfaction. Just detached curiosity, like watching someone else's movie. Victor beamed in his bespoke tuxedo, unaware of my presence. Several of his board members kept glancing nervously at their phones. The ceremony was brief. Vows exchanged. Rings presented. I clapped politely at the reception. Things unraveled. Victor and Sophie made the rounds, phones buzzing constantly. Victor excused himself but returned pale, whispering urgently to an executive. Other phones started buzzing. The business crowd began to realize something was happening. And then Victor saw me. Our eyes met. I raised my glass in a silent toast. Confusion morphed into shock, then panic. He started toward me, but a board member intercepted, showing him a tablet. Victor's face drained of all color. The news was breaking. Bennett Analytics had acquired a controlling interest in Hayes Enterprises. Effective immediately, I was the new chairman. In other words, I owned Victor's company. Sophie, floating on bridal bliss, seemed oblivious. She chatted with guests, showed off her ring, smiled at compliments. I approached her. "Sophie, you look beautiful." She froze. "Lucas, I didn't think you'd come and miss your big day? Never?" I kissed her cheek, inhaling the perfume she'd worn the day she left. "Marriage is serious," I said softly, "almost as serious as business." Her eyes narrowed. "What are you doing here, Lucas?" "I was invited, just observing. It's very impressive." She studied Mitha, suit, the watch, the confidence. "You've changed. Success does that. I heard your company's doing well." She glanced at Olivia. "Is she your date?" Olivia, VP of Operations, brilliant woman. Smiled. "Speaking of operations, have you checked on your husband? He seems preoccupied." Sophie frowned at Victor, now surrounded by agitated men. "What's going on?" "Just business news. Nothing to ruin your day." I sipped champagne. "Tell me, Sophie, are you happy?" "Everything you wanted," Sophie replied. "Of course. Victor gives me everything I could ask for." "Everything has a price," I said mildly. "I learned that from you." Victor appeared with a mask of rage. "Sophie, we need to talk. Now." "Victor, it's our wedding reception." "Ask him," he snarled, glaring at me. I extended my hand. "Victor Hayes. Never formally met, though I feel like I know you. Congratulations on your marriage." He ignored it. "You orchestrated this." "Today of all days?" "Orchestrated what?" Sophie asked. "He's taken over the company," Victor spat. "Hostile takeover. Middle of our wedding reception." Sophie's eyes widened. "You did what?" I shrugged. "Business is business. Timing is everything." "Isn't that what you told me, Victor?" "Through Sophie, of course." "You son of a..." Victor said angrily. "Victor," Sophie hissed. "Not here. Everyone's watching." Guests whispered. Phones out. The fairy tale wedding became a business scandal. "We should discuss this privately," I suggested. My team prepared a generous transition plan. "You think I'll just hand over my company?" Victor demanded. "You don't have a choice. Shareholders have spoken. I can keep you on in an advisory role if interested." "At my own company?" Victor screamed. "My company now," I corrected. "Technically, it belongs to the shareholders. They've lost confidence in your leadership." Sophie stared at me, as if seeing me for the first time. "Lucas, how could you do this today?" Sophie said. "How could I?" I laughed softly. "Sophie, you left me for him the day before I secured the funding that changed my life. You shared my proprietary work and invited me to watch you marry him. Did you think I'd applaud?" Victor's eyes narrowed. "What proprietary information?" He turned to Sophie. "What is he talking about?" "It wasn't like that," she said. "I just mentioned his project in passing." "She told you enough to incorporate elements of my technology," I said. "Not enough to replicate, but enough for your lawyers to worry about IP." The color drained from Sophie's face. "That's not fair." "Life rarely is." I straightened my tie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I should mingle with my new board. Lots to discuss about the future of Hayes. As I turned, Sophie grabbed my arm. Lucas, wait, can we talk? You have 5 minutes, I replied. Victor was being pulled away by his team, too distracted to notice his bride slipping away. I followed Sophie to a balcony overlooking the New York skyline. Say what you need to say, I told her, keeping my distance. I'm sorry for how things ended. For what I said that day, she whispered. Which part? Calling me a failure or betraying my trust by sharing my work? I replied, all of it. I was unhappy, Lucas, stuck in a life going nowhere. She almost cried. And now, you happy with the life you chose? I asked. She looked toward the reception, chaos still unfolding. I thought I was until money and power were threatened. Not just for money, he was stable, established. I didn't. You had dreams, Lucas, beautiful dreams, but dreams don't pay the bills. I gestured to myself. Does this look like a dream? Bennett Analytics is valued over $1 billion, employs 300, and now owns Hayes Enterprises. Sophie looked at me, eyes wide. I didn't know it would happen so fast. I thought, I don't know, that I'd finally had some success. You never believed in me, Sophie. Not really. I said, that's not true, she protested. I supported you until something better came along. I leaned on the balcony railing. Why invite me to the wedding? The real reason. She looked away and said, closure? To show I was happy? Or maybe to rub your new life in my face? To prove you made the right choice? I suggested. Maybe, she admitted quietly. I didn't expect this. She glanced toward the chaos inside. What happens now? Victor has 2 choices. Fight a losing battle or accept a generous transition package and leave with some dignity in us. Voice wavered. I studied her, the woman I once loved, the woman who broke me. There is no us, Sophie. Not for a long time, I replied. But there could be. She stepped closer. We could try again. Things are different. I almost laughed. You're married as of an hour ago. Marriages can be annulled, she said quickly. Victor and I. It's complicated. Let me get this straight, I said slowly. You want to rekindle things now that I have money? Power? Success? That's not fair. I cared about you, Lucas. We had history. She said slowly. History isn't enough. I deserve someone who believes in me when things are hard. Someone who sees my potential even when I can't. I said calmly. I made a mistake, she whispered. We all make mistakes. Then we live with the consequences. I smiled. She realized I wouldn't offer an escape. What am I supposed to do now? Pretend everything's fine while my husband's company falls apart? That's up to you, I said. But I'd start thinking about a prenup. Victor's net worth just took a hit. You're enjoying this? She accused. No, I thought I would. I just feel free, I replied. Tears filled her eyes. I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted more than what we had. And now you have more than you bargained for. Goodbye, Sophie, I said and left. I returned to the reception. Victor was gone, swept away to a crisis meeting. Guess we're leaving. Olivia found me. Mission accomplished. I nodded. Let's go. Suddenly, Victor returned, flushed with rage. Bennett, you think this is over? Sophie tried to intervene. Not here. Let's go. No. Everyone should know what kind of man he is? Victor screamed. I stood firm and said, You've had enough champagne. Listen to your wife. The woman who told me everything about his project? He spat. She didn't know it would matter, Sophie said weakly. Victor lunged, grabbing my lapels. Security stepped in. His punch barely connected. I stumbled but stayed upright. Feel better? I asked quietly. 2 guards restrained him. I won't press charges. It's his wedding day after all. Sophie, mortified, whispered apologies. Take care of him, Sophie, I said. He'll need you. Olivia and I left amid whispers. By morning, headlines would scream, Wedding Day Takeover, Groom's Meltdown. By Monday, Victor Hayes was officially removed as CEO of Bennett Hayes Enterprises. The board voted unanimously. His interviews made him look unhinged. His social and business circles evaporated. He retreated to Seabreeze Estates, drinking and hiding. Sophie filed for divorce 3 months later. The prenup limited her settlement. Without Victor's fortune, she vanished from the scene. Rumor said she returned to her hometown, her dreams of luxury gone. As for me, Bennett Hayes Enterprises flourished. My predictive analytics platform, born in a tiny apartment, now revolutionized industries worldwide. Occasionally, Sophie tried to reach out. I never responded. Some bridges once burned cannot be rebuilt. At my next board meeting, someone asked about dropping Hayes from the name. Never, I said with a smile. It's important to remember where we came from and where some people ended up.